Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early January 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My God, Spirit Team, talk to me about the bulls. What do we got for Taurus, gang? In early January, what energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card, then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus, please. What is the vibe in 2025? What do we have for our good friends here? Please, let's get this first card out. Cool. All right. Now, this card to me can either be extremely positive or it could be very challenging. Okay. Now, as you see there, we have that lady there. She's looking in the mirror. I feel like either it's shown up for you in recent weeks or another earth sign, but we will talk about it because it's one of the more rare oracle cards that pop out here where it's like, all right, there's some extremes to the energy. Either this is really good and really awesome for you, or it's something that could be quite annoying. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the January subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more about this card. So again, we see this lovely lady in that big blue dress. She's sitting right there in the center of the room and she's looking at herself in the mirror. She's like really looking at her appearance and how she looks. Notice that there's also mirrors all over the room. So it's like everywhere she goes, everywhere she looks, it's like she's kind of focused on herself. Now, the positive aspects of this card for some Tauruses, maybe you're changing something about your look or aesthetics. How you present yourself to the outside world could be very important to you. So how people perceive you, so whether it is a wardrobe change, a health and wellness thing, it's like, okay, I want to tighten up the way I look for whatever reason. Now, it could also represent confidence, this card. So like feeling good, feeling confident. Hopefully it's not the other way around. But where the big issue with this card is, aside from all the stuff we already spoke about, if you were tied to someone else that is extremely self-focused or egotistical, and I don't like using the word because it's like a buzzword at this point, but someone that has narcissistic tendencies, this is the card that represents it because it's kind of like self-obsessed. So when I see this at the beginning of your reading, it could just tell us like, hey, anyone that fits that bill, you might have extra tension with in this time. So you might need a little distance between you and that person. We're just going to leave it at that. I don't want to get too hyper specific. Let's get into tarot. And I always say the first card here, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Taurus, gang. Let's see what's happening in early January, please. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled A Big Ending, but it didn't necessarily feel terrible to me. So for a lot of Tauruses, there could be certain chapters that are closing one, opening a new one. There could be various things heading out. Now, that doesn't mean like they're all going to be super painful or terrible. I did feel for some of you, it's like, no, this could be for the best in one way or another. But I mean, look at the ending we had. Literally the year ended, but I felt like it was something different. Let's see what you have this week. As you know, energy is very fluid. It's never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Taurus, please. What do we have in early January 2025? What is happening for my good friends? Okay. All right, fired up. We have that Knight of Wands in position number 1 now. I personally really enjoy having an action card, a fiery card in the front end, because it's like, all right, here we go. This energy isn't like really stuck in the trenches, if that makes sense. It's making moves. It's all gas, no brakes. Let's get a couple more. I mean, I would like that, right? I'm an Aries sun, so let's get 2 more. What do we have here for my Taurus friends? 2 of Pentacles, cool, making the right moves. I feel like this could be nice. I don't want to get too overly excited about it, but it's so intriguing to me that we had like endings showing up last week, and now it's like there's good energy that's really starting to roll in. Let's get 1 more out here, because I mean, there's still a lot of reading left to go. What do we have here for Taurus, please? Thank you. Okay, not all simple though. Not all simple. We do have the 9 of Swords right here on the back end, and And we're not going to make a huge deal out of that card, but it is most definitely something that we're going to want to pay attention to or look into deeper. Now, let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, I feel like it's a bit of a mixed bag this week. There's some really good energy, and there's a little bit of stress-induced energy, and that's okay. Elementally, we're pretty even amongst them. So we have fire in the front, the realm of action and movement. We have earth in the center, balanced, grounded. That's an energy you're very comfortable with. And on the back end, we have the Nine of Swords, a little more up in the mind, in the head, possibly overthinking certain things. Not saying it's you, it could be somebody else. So it's like we have different areas of life or different things that could be showing up here. Let's go through piece by piece and really start to build it out though and get more detail. Position number one, we are starting with the Knight of Wands. Now, for a portion of you, you might be connected to a fire sign, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Maybe you have some fire placements yourself. If that is not the case, I already mentioned this is a card of fiery action and movement. Now, knights are similar to pages, where they can represent conversation, they can represent talking, and when I see this Knight of Wands, it's like, boom, I'm coming in, I'm going to say this, I'm going to drop the hammer. So there could be a bit of a volatility in regards to communication. You might be a little more aggressive than you normally are, and that might be warranted. I guess it depends on the situation. Now, this card isn't just communication and taking action. It could just be fire within you, right? It could be motivation, it could be passion, it could be your health and life force. So we could be looking at areas like that. Now, usually the Knight of Wands is very good and it's making big moves. At the same time, it could be very unpredictable. That just goes with the territory of all the Wands cards. There's a certain level of unpredictability to it. But I feel for a lot of you, if there are things popping up that you weren't expecting to deal with, you're probably taking it in stride, or at least you're giving the appearance that you're taking it in stride. In position number two, we have the Two of Pentacles. I like this card. And you see this individual, he's sitting there, he's balancing or juggling. I guess it depends on your perspective. There's the infinity symbol. So this is one of the karmic cards as well. So it could speak about karmic cycles. Makes sense with last week's reading. Universal energy, it could be really nice. But when I see this, I think of equality, balance. If you're making choices and decisions, you're making the proper ones when this card shows up. It could be letting something settle down, letting something simmer a little bit. Whereas like this one's go, 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 go. This one is like, all right, let's take a minute. Let's take a little pause here. And I think that could be nice. Now, a challenging aspect of the Two of Pentacles, yes, it could represent something that's not quite fair or something that's out of balance, but at the same time, it could be someone juggling a lot of things. So whether it's a lot of responsibilities, a lot in the mind, a lot of things you have to do, I'm just picking up busy, 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 busy when this card is here. So we'll see what shows up. I feel like it's okay, though. I feel like for a lot of Tauruses, you're doing really well at like taking things in stride in this time. So that's cool. Now, moving to the back end, we have what might be the more challenging card in whole spread, the Nine of Swords. And I always say this is one of the cards in tarot. You really don't need to be an expert or adept to understand what it means. We have this individual, they're sitting up in bed, hands over the face, they're going through it, right? So for this obviously could represent, you know, stress, anxiousness, nervousness. Maybe some of you are just having a little issue with sleep. You might be waking up a lot in the night. Maybe some of you are having some funky dreams when this card shows up. That is definitely something that pops off here. But there is this certain level of like wound tight or someone like overthinking something as well. Another little side note about this card, this is one of the cards that I link to the paranormal and to spiritual because it's at nighttime. There's just an aspect of it that links into that. So just know that you could be extra sensitive to subtle energies or spiritual energies, and you might be having more experiences in that realm when this card is here. So we'll see. Again, it could just be someone that's wound tight. And again, it doesn't have to be you. I'm not saying all this energy is you. You already know how it goes. But we're just going to leave it at that for now. I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's jump in and clarify. Let's get a good shuffle here for Taurus, please. What is happening for my good friends? Guides and spirit team. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Knight of Wands. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Knight of Wands time. What's he doing? What's this action about? Please. Thank you. That's a little uncontrollable here. All right, so watch out for anybody like with authority positions or people that you view as authority figures in this time, because there could be a lot of tension there, especially when I see the Emperor in reverse underneath this Knight of Wands. It's like, nope, screw it. I'm going to do what I want. It's definitely giving me a bit of a rebellious type of energy here as well. But another thing I'm seeing, I mean, when we have the Knight of Wands with the Emperor in reverse, it's important to know that the Emperor represents control. And when we look at the big scheme of it, when it's in reverse underneath this Knight of Wands, it's kind of uncontrollable. It is very explosive. So whether I saw this in the Aries reading, very similar, whether this could be an explosive situation or an issue or a problem where it's like, okay, that really expanded real quick, or that went from 0 to 100 real quick. Now, hopefully for a lot of you, this isn't something that comes to pass, but there could be various situations that pick up in intensity very, very quickly. Okay, so we're going to have to see how it all plays out. Now, the Emperor is a card, aside from authority figures, divine masculine figures, father figures. It's linked to the zodiac sign of Aries, which is the first zodiac sign, the initiator. It's all about taking action and movement. Some people give this to Taurus as well. So when I see this in reverse underneath this Knight of Wands, once again, either it's an explosive situation, problem, or just something that goes from 0 to 100. And we'll see how it goes as we move forward. Just know that there are things that could really pick up in intensity really, really quick when this card shows up. I don't feel like we need to overtalk it, because we'll see how the control comes in as we move further. To me, it just feels very volatile. So there could be a situation right now where it might need some time to simmer down. Let's keep moving. Either that, or you might just be feeling much more fiery and spicy than you normally do. That could be the case. So if that's the case, maybe you just need to put that energy somewhere. Let's go in on the Two of Pentacles, though. See what's up with that. There's a Two of Pentacles here. Thank you. Okay. You know what? This makes complete and total sense. I like this because to me, this is the voice of reason I'm seeing here in the center. And you might be thinking, all right, Kyle, how the hell do you see that in the cards? It's totally intuitive. I mean, usually the Six of Wands is a card of victory. Again, doing the right things, making the right choices. It's a fiery card of action. So when I see it in reverse, it's like, whoa, 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 let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not go too far ahead. And when I see this explosive energy in the front, this could be a warning about either someone making a mistake or doing something that they're going to regret. Okay, so whether this is a warning for you or how somebody else you're connected to is feeling, I feel that there is a potential for somebody to act in a way that they're going to regret and wish they hadn't. Okay, now we will see how it continues to play out. The Six of Wands in the upright is usually a very positive card. It did show up in reverse, though. Important to keep that in mind. Usually it's attention, it's victory, it's moving forward in a proper way. But in reverse, this in the upright, it's a card of victory. In reverse, it's a card of a loss. Okay, so for some of you, if there's something that didn't go your way or you had an unlucky bounce of some kind, there is a recovery period here in the center where it's like, okay, well, that didn't go your way, but that's fine. You know, just take it as it comes. Remember, I was saying, I feel like for a lot of Tauruses, you're going to be very good at rolling with the punches in this time and taking situations as they roll towards you. But I'm seeing it here, especially with this volatile energy in the front and this in the center. There is a potential for somebody to do something or say something that they're probably going to regret. So watch out for making mistakes. I saw this in Capricorn too, where it's like you shouldn't have knee-jerk reactions. Like Tauruses and Earth signs in total might be a lot more fired up than they normally are at this time of the year. Let's keep moving over to the Nine of Swords. Then we'll do a quick little recap. And yeah. After the recap, we'll pull a shadow card, see if there's anything else we need to see. So why is the Nine of Swords here? Why is that Nine of Swords? Thank you. Okay, so there is a turnaround. It does feel a little stressful in the front end, but on the back end, it's like, all right, it's okay. It's not like a permanent thing. Now, the Wheel of Fortune to me is... it's expansive. It's a beautiful energy. It's my four-leaf clover of the tarot deck. So wherever it shows up, whenever it shows up, I love it. It is a karmic card, and it moves rather quickly. So when I see it underneath the Nine of Swords, first and foremost, the silver lining I'm picking up here is one of those good old-fashioned, everything's going to be okay. This is not a permanent thing. This too shall pass. So just know if you are going through certain stressful situations right now, it will pass. It's not a permanent thing. Everything is going to be okay. But aside from that, when I see the Nine of Swords with the wheel moves so quick, so fast. with all this fire, and now we have the wheel showing up, it's someone that feels like they're on shaky ground. And again, listen, I have a couple Taurus placements myself. I totally understand that stability is a very important thing to most Tauruses. So when I see this energy on the back end, I'm like, yeah, well, I get it. You know, if there is unpredictable stuff or things that you're feeling a little shaky about, it's like, you know, I'm just not feeling right about this. So like it doesn't feel kosher to me. So there could be something that's bothering you in that way. But again, I feel overall the energy will be okay and it's moving in a positive direction. Let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. Mixed bag, just like I said, because whatever it is that shows up, I feel you rolling with the punch as well. But position number one, we have the Knight of Wands with Emperor in reverse. So I said, watch out for issues with authority figures, people you view as an authority figure, because there could be some tension there, even father figures. But aside from that, I feel explosive energy where someone just like does something without thinking. It's kind of out of control, the energy I'm picking up here in the front, and it makes logical sense when you know the card meanings. Moving to the center, we have the Two of Pentacles with the Six of Wands in reverse, letting something mellow out. No knee-jerk reactions, because when I see this tied with this, there is a potential for someone to either do or say something that they're going to regret. So watch out for mistakes, whether it's someone that's already made one or whether it's a potential for that to happen in the coming days and weeks. Like no knee-jerk reactions if possible. Take a breath, because I feel a lot of fire underneath the surface. On the back end, we have the Nine of Swords with the Wheel of Fortune. Everything's going to be okay. This is a beautiful, blessed, expansive energy. So it's like, all right, well, whatever it is that's going on, it will pass. It is not permanent. It's just a bump in the road. It's giving me that vibe. But I also feel an energy of someone feeling a little shaky, where it's like, okay, this isn't super predictable. There's a little too much unpredictability for me. The ground feels a little shaky and it's not sitting right with somebody. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. But I would say the overarching thing, I like the temporary aspect of what it is that's going on here. But I also like that energy of Taurus being able to just go with the flow, roll with the punches, whatever comes your way, you're going to be able to roll with it. So let's get you a shadow card here. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. If you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for my channel members. I really do. All right, let's get your shadow card out here. What do we got for Taurus, please? In the shadows. Okay. Oh, no, didn't pop out. It almost did. What do we have here? There it is. Okay. Three of Wands. So I feel like this Three of Wands does tie into a lot of the stuff we saw here in the center about no knee-jerk reactions, letting something chill and mellow out a little bit. It is fiery energy, so it makes sense with all this energy we were picking up within the reading. Now, what does the Three of Wands represent? Sometimes it could be someone that's in a waiting pattern where it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to make a move. I'm going to see what happens type of vibe. I do think of this as a strong, powerful manifestation card as well. So for a lot of Tauruses, just know, I mean, Spirit could be amping up your powers to manifest, create things, and pull things towards you, which could be a very positive thing in the shadows. But the challenge here, you already guessed it, delays. It could represent bumps in the road. But I also get this strong energy that the best course of action would be minimal reaction. Listen, I mean, in regards to what we saw within the reading itself, the Three of Wands isn't doing much. It's kind of like wait and see. So for some of you with situations you're dealing with, best possible reaction would be none for the time being. Not permanently, just not yet. So Taurus, that's what I have for you, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The January subscriber surprise. If you would like to get a personal reading from me and get a little forecast for what 2025 has in store for you, you can check out my website and digital calendar at mastermetaphysics.com to look for availability. But for the January subscriber surprise, we are once again giving away 3 copies of the beautiful Everyday Witches Tarot. It's one of my favorite decks. And if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, what is your main goal for the 2025 calendar year? You'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab as usual, my friends. Much love, and I'll see you soon.